frequently, but every time I've seen him, it seems like he's doing okay. I know he's had a couple surgeries and whatnot for various things. You know, some from leftover injuries from when he was it Vietnam, I think?
He was at the last council meeting.
Are we live online?
seemed
here?
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I probably shouldn't, I don't know what he would like people to discuss or not, but I think he's doing okay. Yeah.
So Bob's not back in his notes yet?
I think he's close. He's getting there. I know we got him back on the board because he said he was gonna be back in, and I think he's,
It looks like it's ready. I mean, it looks like,
Oh, yeah.
like it for a long
I
time.
can't quite imagine what.
His name was
remains.
on the door. I
Yeah.
drove
Yeah.
by a couple days ago and he had a homemade
And
sign.
he's there a lot more frequently now, so.
it's looked finished from the outside for quite a while, but there was a lot of internal stuff to do, but I think he's getting his occupancy permit real soon and should be back in there, so.
But he's registered to vote here now, right?
Not yet.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, is
I think
he?
is too.
I think
Oh.
he registered to vote, but
I just checked with Patty today
Yeah.
and didn't look like it.
I'll have to double check that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if he is, that he can be.
right.
Are we waiting for him right now?
Nope.
No,
Okay. Okay, can we, open the meeting and do a roll call?
Yeah,
Is that you, Jeff?
that's me.
Okay.
Start off with John Leo,
Here.
Kim Morris,
Here.
Kristen McDonald,
Here?
Jeff James.
Seeing the pattern, I'm here.
All right, we have a quorum.
All right, so we need to approve the minutes from, July 14th.
It was a very short meeting.
I didn't read them, but I'll make a proposal. We pass as written.
A second.
You can all in favor of that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we've approved those. So now we're going to, Nancy, are you here to make any comments or just to hang out?
He's just hanging.
Okay, then we have the old and new business, so we're gonna elect a new chair, approval of the schedule and review of the zoning board bylaws. So how do you want to do the voting on a chair?
We need a nomination, right?
Yep, somebody would nominate, somebody would second, and as long as that person is here, they can accept that nomination. And then you would, we'll do a roll call vote to approve, to like any other motion.
And John is ineligible for this,
I
correct?
believe it's, I don't know if it's a clear black and white, but I know that we've tried in the past to not have a city council.
I think we had this discussion once
Yeah.
before, agreed that it shouldn't as council representative.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
But I would be glad to nominate Kristen to continue. She's done a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I concur. Until you move on or move out or whatever, why not? Let's
Maybe
use
I'll join
logic.
the West Traverse board.
So, John, that was a motion,
It was.
and there was a second.
Second.
Kim? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Jeff, James?
Yes, agree.
Does Kim vote, or Kristen vote for herself?
That's weird.
you can abstain, but you can vote for yourself.
Kristen?
No, I'm not gonna vote for myself.
Sorry. Yes.
John?
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
Okay, the schedule, what's that all about?
So we just have to affirm the schedule for the new year. And if we look at the next page after the minutes, it's the same scheduled outline for as past years. We've got the second Wednesday of each month is the meeting date. The application deadline is noon of the meeting of the day of the meeting before. So for instance, if somebody wants to appeal to the Wednesday, March 9th meeting, the deadline for appeal would be noon on February 9th, which would be the date of the meeting before. essentially that gives us a situation where if we know we have an appeal for February, I would be in here today saying we will have a potential appeal for next month, should we be having a meeting. Other than that, there really aren't any changes. This is the same schedule we had last year. Meeting time is again set for 5:30. Of course, this is just what I put together based on last year. If you guys have feelings that you would like to change that, changing the time from 5:30 to a later time to give you guys a chance to have dinner before the meeting, if you would prefer, or if you guys know that Wednesday is just a horrible day, we could entertain the idea of changing days. We should probably look at other schedules to make sure we don't do anything conflicting. But, or if you are fine with this, then we'll just need some type of a motion to approve the schedule for this year.
I'm fine with this, except for you've got a December 148 on your last right-hand column.
Oh, yeah, that's not accurate. That would be December 14 without that 8. We'll get that corrected.
I didn't even notice. I actually didn't look at the application deadline. Good catch. I mean, the ZBA's been on second Wednesdays at 5:30 forever, and it's fine with me. I mean, everybody's used to, I mean, my calendar already has it carved out through the years, so it's fine with me.
I move that we approve the schedule.
Motion by Kim,
I second that.
second by Kristen. I think an all in favor.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Okay, motion passed.
The last thing here is our bylaws. And we did have some updates. Jim Raymer found a few things that they had adjusted in, I think it was, changes to the Zoning Enabling Act. And that he felt that based on some of those changes, we needed to update some of our information in here. Also, we had some rules that we had done as a separate thing that we've now incorporated into the bylaw. So I don't think there's very many changes, but he did point out the areas that he updated was Article 4, Article 5, and Article 6. Which would be then Article 4 is pre-hearing requirements. I don't know specifically what changes he made. I know one of the things that we added into the bylaw that wasn't previously there that we had done as a separate rule before was the deadline for filing an appeal for an administrative decision. That was previously done in between our bylaws where we previously adopted, and we didn't have anything that governed the time frame for appeal of an administrative decision. So we created that rule around the time when we had the initial Irish boat shop case that came to us, so that there was an ability for them to appeal in creating the decision. So that has been taken from that separate rule and incorporated into the bylaws. Other than that, I'm not sure exactly what the changes are, other than they were made to Article 4, pre-hearing requirements, Article 5, procedures specific to appeals of administrative decision. Well, I guess Article 5 would be the new addition, because I don't think that was previously in here. And then Article 6, procedures specific to variance requests. And I don't think the changes were very dramatic. The other thing that he pointed out to me is, and I'm not sure if it's part of our bylaws or part of the Zoning Enabling Act, but it does require that we're supposed to provide you with copies of the bylaws 2 weeks before they're adopted. And we just included that in the packet here, which was about a week ago. So Jim's recommendation is that we don't approve it today, but today we hand it over to you. Take a quick look if you've got any thoughts of changes, things that you would like us to amend or update. And then we would just review it a little bit more and further and then approve it February.
Jeff, could you ask Jim if he could provide like a red line?
I was just gonna say,
would like to see a red line. Okay.
yeah,
That'll give them some
you
time.
probably did this in Word, and you can look at the edited version, and it'll have strikes with what was removed and
Sure.
read.
And I'll ask him for that tomorrow.
And I
then give that to
didn't,
you
I
as-
didn't think to ask that, because when I looked at this, it's got an 11/6/2017 date in the footer. So in my mind, this was just kind of, here's a reminder about, here's our bylaws. So I didn't think to go through with any detail and compare it to what I had before.
What is that, oh, I should just look, but that February date, is that the 9th?
Yep, February 9th would
Okay,
be our next meeting.
okay, great.
Okay, yeah, I will get you a redlined copy.
Yeah, because it says adopted January 12th on the front page.
He must have just not edited that.
Oh, I think he just did that for potential ability to adopt it today. He said it would be possible if we had all members of the board here today to adopt it and approve it, but with some of them absent, we need to have an opportunity for everybody to provide feedback and whatnot. This gives us a little more time to meet that 2-week requirement.
And if we can get the red line copy, then it should be pretty straightforward to see
Right.
what it is we're talking about.
The only other thing I would ask, and maybe this is a Victor question, every time I get something from City Hall, it comes as a win.dat.
Yeah, it's
As an outlook.
It's a windmail.dat file. And what the issue there, we've discussed this a little bit before. The trouble is, we at City Hall use Outlook for our stuff, which is a Microsoft product. And for some reason, Microsoft and Apple don't like to talk to each other very well. And so when you take an email that's sent specifically from Outlook that has an attachment and you open it with any Apple product, whether it's an iPhone or a MacBook or any of those things, it automatically changes that file to a windmail.dat file. We've tried to do things on our end to address it. Some people have the issue, some people don't, and I don't know what causes it. We've done everything on our end that we know of. We've talked to our IT guy.
You have to send it through Outlook.
What
Can
we
you
put,
just send a Word file?
what I do for the Harbor Commission is I also put a link to the packet on the city's website. So if, Jeff, do you include a link in your email body to like?
Well, what we do is at the same time that I email you guys the packet that has that PDF. And I think Andrew Bowman found software that you can put on an iPad or your phone that will convert that windmail.dat file back to whatever file it was before. I think you have to know what the original file is supposed to be, such as a PDF versus an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. But our answer has been, because we use Outlook and that kind of is the stemming of the problem, what we also do is at the same time I email you the packet and everything, I send that same email goes to Victor, and Victor uploads and puts that PDF on our website. So the day that you get that email from us, what you can do is just go straight onto the city website, and we have the section where it shows the upcoming meetings. And if you click on the ZBA, you can download the file there, and that should be fine in getting it to you as a PDF that's viewable.
Jeff, maybe what you could do is just give me the file, so put it on the website before you put the email, so you can email a link out as well, so that way. Because that's what I do with the Harbor Commission, every other board I do, is just.
Having the link there, it's a direct connection.
It happened with Jim Bartlett too, because he has the same problem with the Mac, and every time I send him a PDF, it doesn't work, so I try using something else like WeTransfer, but if it's something that's on the website, I just put the
That's
link,
probably, we
and then
can,
he can access it from the website.
we can start
That'd be
doing
great.
that.
That's one.
Yeah,
That's the easiest.
That's another option.
That works fine, thanks.
It is frustrating.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do on our end, other than that.
It's just Outlook.
We've tried, we've been dealing with this issue at least since I've been here. I don't know if it's been.
But you
going on
said there's
before,
some
but-
people that can actually view it on Apple products.
Yeah, it's hit and miss. We were talking about this
Weird.
once at the planning commission meeting. And some of the people that had Apple products were not able to open it, like Andrew Bowman. And then others were able to open it. And we don't know what it is that has to be done to address it. We've tried to do everything we can at our end. I know we've talked with Andy Frank, our IT guy, and he made some settings and updated things, and we did things on our personal computers to try and get it
Link, that
right.
works great.
Yeah, we'll do a link. We can
Thank you.
definitely do that.
All right, so we'll get to Jim for a red line edits, and then.
Yep, red line edits.
We'll get
Does
those
anybody
out 2
have?
weeks before.
I'll, as soon as I get them back, I will forward them out to you so that you have plenty of time to review. Does anybody have any thoughts or ideas of anything else about the bylaws that they would like to see changed or that they have questions on that we can address in the meantime?
And then these go to council, just FYI, they go to council, they get approved. Once the ZBA approves it, then council is the final approval.
Did we ever get the handicap ramp thing taken
Yes.
care of?
Yep.
Okay,
We made that recommendation that we would like to see a change with that.
okay,
That went to the planning commission. That was actually a couple of years ago, I think. Planning commission did review and they made for an allowance for a certain, I don't think they specified a square footage or a size. They specified that it was allowed to extend into the setback a certain amount. And I'd have to look to see what that is, but we did make that change, yes.
okay.
Mhm.
And did we allow a faster turnaround for that? Because that was kind of the concern when we were dealing with Mr. Crawford off of the alley there on Summit, where he needed a handicap ramp and it took way too long to get that.
Because he had to, because at that point in time, we had nothing in the code that permitted a handicap ramp to extend into the setback. So, which meant that it had to comply with all zoning regulations.
Okay,
But with their situation, they had to appeal for a variance to be able to do the handicap ramp that they wanted. So now we have something in the code to address handicap ramps. And it's part of the normal residential site plan review, which means that I can approve it administratively. So in most cases, the turnaround time for that is between 1 day to 5 days-ish, depending on me having suitable information to be able to make the decision, right?
great.
Just noting that they have, that they've complied with everything and whether it complies with the rule that was set up for that. Once we know that it has been, we can, I can approve that administratively. And because it's essentially we're treating it similar to like a deck with no roof over it, there isn't even a fee for somebody to apply to be able to do that.
Okay,
So
great,
Mhm.
thank you. Any other comments, you guys?
Are we on member comments or bylaws?
I think the bylaws, we're just gonna
Okay.
read these through and see what Jim comes up
I
with.
do have a comment.
Sure.
Larry Nix has give us his retirement letter. I know he hasn't worked with us as much, works more with the planning commission, but he's been with the city for 32 years as our planning consultant, and he's
32.
yeah, he's come to some of the ZBA meetings for some of the bigger ticket items, but so we're gonna be in the process, of looking for a new planner, but he's gonna retire as soon as the master plan update is completed, so just an FYI. I know you guys don't hear from him often, but once in a while you do, so.
Just as an FYI and for fun, that first meeting I was with him, 10, 12, 14 years ago, whatever. He said, you guys don't have a parking problem, you have a lack of car problem. I just always thought funny comment that he made.
Especially in the winter time.
Depending on the time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely nice thing. I got a problem 2 weekends out of you. Anyway, it's funny.
So
He's always a good guy. I liked him.
So we'll be looking at as council and planning commission staff of getting a new consultant, but I just want to let you guys know that.
The time frame for completion on the master plan is?
We're gonna talk about that at council on Monday, but really we're looking for an April-ish approval, depending on how that process goes and the kind of public feedback we get at the public hearings. So
Once we've kind of reviewed and had our meeting, our public meeting for that review of the plan, when we kind of say, here's what it is, and we're kind of done. We have to put notice to other communities and have it available for public review for a certain period of time.
42 days.
Is
or
it
something.
42 days? Yeah. And then once that's done, then I think we can have our final meeting to adopt it. So we're looking at potentially, like you said, about April.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. And our hope, once that's done, is we will then pick up with the planning commission of jumping right into a review of our zoning code and review each of those chapters to see if we need to amend any of the sections in the zoning code to align with the master plan as it's been rewritten.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? That's me. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
You have the power.
I think you make,
Oh, I have the power to adjourn?
Yep.
Well, let's
you have
adjourn
more
the
power than you
meeting.
knew.
Do you really want to give this position up?
All kinds of fun. So I do want to make one comment that had nothing to do with zoning, but a friend of mine stopped in the office and he was really bummed about not having the new park and recreation board be available to people who are in the township. And I just thought I'd make a comment about that. I don't know if you guys have.
Township versus town, you mean?
Right, I mean, because, you know, when
Just clarify.
you think about it, I mean, are there just the city council and zoning board are the only two boards that are only sourced from Harbor Springs
There's also
residents?
the tree board.
The only board that has members from the townships is the Harbor Commission.
Well, there's also the planning.
And the
commission
planning
has two.
commission too.
Well, we've got the
For
option,
state law.
Non-resident.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then other than
DDA
that,
though, DDA has.
well, but the DDA they have businesses within town.
Yeah, but they aren't, they don't have to be resident.
But they have to be,
Right.
have an interest in the business. But so tree board, ZBA, and the parks board now all have to be members of the town. So there's been talk between the townships and the city previously, this was in our master plan, about forming some sort of recreational authority between the townships and the city, because obviously a lot of our parks are used by people from the townships, especially the kids with the skate park and the sledding hill and the beach. But that hasn't gone anywhere, so.
So it would be similar to the sewer authority and the airport.
Right,
authority.
yeah. But at that, I just don't think there's as right now interest from the townships really to do that. They're fine with just paying us money for giving us a little revenue for but we have to reanalyze that anyway. But I hear you. I mean, it's a topic of discussion that's it's been going on. So it's a council decision on that one.
I just wonder how many people are left in town that, you know, are willing to be on some of these boards. I mean, I think our board has struggled a little bit to,
Yeah,
you
a lot of
know,
interest when we just reappointed though, for most boards.
for,
There
good.
were 17 for the Harbor Commission.
Oh, wow.
5 slots,
And that was the first time we've had as many
First time.
people interested in serving.
but it's the
That's
first time
wonderful.
council was willing to open it up
Yeah.
to put new people on. it.
The one-
So it's-
The one that we didn't get anyone for, well, one person was the sewer authority. And that's the one where we can actually have a 20-mile radius, and that's,
Yeah.
so it depends, like Parks is gonna get interest from in-city more so than like other boards. I mean, like ZBA, you know, people think Parks, it's real things that they can interact with on a daily basis. ZBA is quasi-judicial and it's, you know, zoning, you know, it's a little more convoluted and you have to sit there and you have to tell your neighbor no or yes, you know, tell what they can do with their property, so tends to get less people anyway.
And they're all open to the public. So even if you're not on the
Right.
board, anybody, I mean, resident or not, is very welcome to come to the board
If we-
meeting.
And I imagine if we do have problems in the future, like if we really do have actual problems in recruiting people to serve on boards, then I imagine council will relook at, you know, the way we structure our boards and who can go on. But I don't think we're there at that point.
We had a lot of people that wanted to be on parks
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
this time.
No, it was very gratifying to see so
Yeah.
many people interested in serving.
We had a lot of folks interested.
But
That's good.
to Nancy's point, that would be a great answer. You know, you're welcome. You can still come and participate
Yeah.
and provide input, just as the public, not as sitting on.
Just wondering.
No, it's good to know.
Yeah, good question.
The sewer authority, Ed Tim's stepping down. He was tremendous. And then I understand that the head honcho, I can't remember what his name was, he stepped down.
Yeah,
Or is retiring.
Ed Tim stepped down after he's at least 20 years he was on there, and then we replaced him with David LaMarche. And then, yeah, Scott Anderson is retiring. He's been there for a long time.
Has he been replaced? Have they found somebody?
They found someone. I don't think the contract has been signed yet, but they're in the final
close.
stages. Yep.
I think they're in the final stages
Yeah.
of signing up someone.
Yeah.
I sat in when the board interviewed them. He seems like a very competent guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, so yeah, they're gonna have some changes there. And Kathy, actually from our office, went there this summer. So they're having some changes there, so. And Ed has a lot of knowledge on that. But anyways, just an example of,
But you understand why people don't sign up to be on sewer.
I was on it. I was forced on it when I was on city council.
It's a
I was the
fascinating.
last guy to raise my hand.
I go to the meetings just to sit in, and it's amazing both how different it is and how complicated.
Yeah, that's why Ed was so good at it. Yeah, I appreciate him.
Yeah.
Some boards are just more glamorous than others.
That's all I can say. That's right.
Glamour, all right.